Hi. For those of you who remember, 2008 was a critical period in US times because it went through a near collapse when it came to the economy, right? With great difficulty, actually, it came out. So it was like a Wall Street collapse almost, and the entire thing was triggered off by actually a real estate crisis. So what happened there was that people never thought real estate will come down, right? So the US was operating at a slightly different level. If you really go back into details, like you can go step by step, it's actually started with a person called Greenspan, deregulation, and it sort of formed like 20, 30 years it came. And then suddenly the entire thing like collapsed during 2008. So in a nutshell, what happened was people did not think that the real estate market will collapse. US had a system where even in the event that a certain percentage collapses, they had an insurance, right? Large players like AIG insured these companies who gave the loan. So let's say if there was a default rate of say 10%, these AIG large insurance players will cover that. So everybody thought it was safe and people were writing loans. So what happened was they actually lowered their criteria, and before you know it, like a person who did not even work was owning like 2-3 houses. But the most unpredictable thing happened and the real estate market actually came down. So the moment it came down in 2008, it started like a domino effect, right? Entire thing started collapsing. So first they took out this money and started paying these default rates, but the entire thing started coming down, right? It's like a domino effect. Now, what is interesting is that until the last moment, nobody knew that this was happening. There was only a handful of people who knew. There's a nice movie about it as well. Now, until the very last day, I would say people had no idea. The government, the banks, everybody was just going around their day-to-day tasks, eating, enjoying, making money. But when it collapsed, US went through one of the most difficult periods in the US history, right? People really, really came down to the bottom level. And it was a very hard climb up, right? I believe it was George Bush who was the president at the time, right? So it was a very hard time that they came out with. Now, what my message is that I actually feel in the business world, people are doing the same thing. What happened in 2008? People have absolutely no idea what AI is and the capability of AI. Of course, they are seeing a few news articles here and there saying AI is coming for a job or 10,000 people laid off in Microsoft. But it is almost like a distant thing. Like it is almost like it doesn't affect me kind of a thing. Yeah, sure, I'm reading about it. Okay, right, fine. I'm sad, and they shut it down, right? But that is what I feel, right? Just like 2008, people were walking up and down the street without knowing anything. That is what is happening currently. And I'm not sure whether it's going to burst probably in a year or even shorter than that. You're really going to see this threat coming into your doorstep. Unless your business, unless your principles, unless your working changes today, trust me, you're really heading into a tough period ahead. There are still a handful of companies who are actually identifying it and are quickly going into it. I certainly hope that you also do the same. If you need any advice, drop me a comment. I'll be more than happy to go into detail. However, even if you go and Google, do research on social media, you can get tons of article which tells you how to prepare for this, because AI is really coming behind, just like that Wall Street crash. So we have to be very careful and prepare now itself. Thank you.